Hello everyone, this is Rakesh here and once again welcome to my PLSQL tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to discuss the exceptions, and in that we are going to understand what exactly the exception, why exactly we require the exception, and what all the types of exceptions are available in the PLSQL programming. Okay, and also we are going to see how you can raise your own exception, how you can create your own exception, and how you can handle the same exception. So these are the things which we are going to discuss in this session, and at last also we are going to discuss the practical session of the exceptions. Okay guys, so these are the things which we are going to discuss in this session. So let's begin. So guys, let's start our today's discussion and let's understand what exactly the exception. So guys, what exactly the exception? So exception is nothing but it is a kind of mechanism in which we will do the error handling, and that errors occurred in our PLSQL program. So that is nothing but your exception handling. So in other words, what I can say that whenever any error occurred in our PLSQL program, and if I wanted to handle that error, then what I need to do? I need to do the exception handling. Okay, now you can ask one question over here, what exactly handling means, or I can say that error handling means. Okay, so error handling means, let's say for example my program has given some error kind of no data found. Okay, then what I wanted to do? So that is nothing but your error handling. So let's say for example if no data found error came, then I may wanted to print on the console, or I may wanted to insert some record into some table, or I may wanted to abort the program. Then this is nothing but your handling of the error. Means I wanted to control on the program how exactly it should behave on the particular error. So that is nothing but your error handling. Okay guys, so I hope you have understood what exactly the handling means. So what exactly the exception? So whenever any error occurred in our PLSQL program and I wanted to handle that error, then I have to go with the exception. Okay, now let's understand this with the help of one example. So let's say for example this is my PLSQL program. Okay, and this query has written some error. Then I wanted to handle that error. Let's say for example no data found came, then I wanted to print over here some statement no record found. Then what I need to do? I need to go with the exceptions. Okay guys, so this is nothing but your exception. Now let's see the definition of the exception. So what exactly the definition says, and this is my definition, this is not bookish definition. Okay guys, so I have simplified the definition in order to explain you better, and so that you can understand the exception. Okay, so what exactly the definition says that exception is a kind of mechanism which is used to handle any kind of error which is occurred in our PLSQL program. So that's what I have told you right now. Okay, so this is all about the what exactly the exception. Okay guys, I hope you have understood. Now moving on to the next topic, which is nothing but your types of exceptions are available in the PLSQL programming. But before that, I would like to tell one thing. Okay, so whenever we will talk about the exception, then three things happen. The first thing, which is nothing but your exception creation. Next thing, which is nothing but your exception raising, and the last one is nothing but your exception handling. Okay, creation, raising, and handling of the exception. So these are the three things happen in the exception. Okay, so let me come back to my original discussion, so which is nothing but your types of exceptions. Okay, so what are the types of exceptions are available in the PLSQL programming? So the very first, which is nothing but your system defined exception. So what exactly the system defined exception? So system defined exception is nothing but in which exception creation and exception raising is done by the system itself. Okay, only thing we need to do, handling of the exception. So that is nothing but your system defined exception. And what are the examples of the system defined exception? So as you can see on your screen, these are the example of the system defined exception. Okay, over here I have written no data found, too many rows, zero divide, invalid cursor, all are familiar kind of stuff. Okay, now you can question over here, these are the only exceptions can possible in the system? No, there are hundreds of exceptions are defined by the Oracle itself. Okay, and that you can check in the Oracle website, so that I'm not going to list over here. Okay guys, so this is all about the system defined exception. Okay, now moving on to the next thing, which is nothing but your user defined exception. So what exactly the user defined exception? So user defined exception is nothing but it is defined by the us, in which all the three things we need to do: exception creation, exception raising, and exception handling. All these three things we need to do it in our program, okay, and by ourselves only. So this is nothing but your user defined exception. Okay guys, so this is all about the theory part, so in which we have discussed what exactly the exception, what are the types of exception. Now one more thing is left, which is why we required the exception. So because I wanted to handle and I wanted to have the control, I can say the foot control on my PLSQL program. So that is the reason we required the exceptions in our program, or I can say that we required the exception in our PLSQL programming. Okay guys, so this is all about the theory part. Now let's go for the practical part. So guys, let's start with our practical example. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, this is my PLSQL developer, and this is the simple procedure I have written over here. Okay, and for this program only I am going to do the exception handling. So first what we are going to discuss over here, the system defined exception. So that is the thing which we are going to discuss first, and later on we will going to see the user defined exception. Okay, so already we know that in the system defined exception we need to do only the handling part, rest of the things will be taken care by the system itself. Okay, so in order to write over here exception, I need to know the syntax. Okay, so let's understand the syntax first, and let's come back after that on this part. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, this is the syntax of the how you can handle the exceptions. Okay, so over here this is the familiar word, declare, begin and end. Okay, this is declaration section. Over here I have declared some variable, I have written some logic over here, and if some error occurred in this logic, then I wanted to handle that. Okay, then how you can do it? You can do it like this. So this is the exception syntax. Okay, so what exactly you need to do over here? You need to write the keyword exception, and then when keyword, and then keyword, and over here you need to mention the exception name. Maybe this exception name can be no data found, too many rows, zero divide, invalid cursor, whatever the you feel that okay in this logic the error can come, that exceptions you can mention over here, and you can mention multiple exception over here. So this is first exception, this is second exception. You may feel that okay hundreds of error can come over here in this logic, so you can mention over here hundreds of when. Okay, and at last, let's say for example if some error is came which is not defined in the system, weird kind of error, then I wanted to execute, then for that we need to write over here other. This is other keyword you need to write. Okay, and this will take care of the any kind of error which is not defined over here. Okay, so if this is not satisfied, this is not satisfied, then ultimately this condition will get definitely satisfied. Okay, and this will get satisfied only and only in case of any error occurred in our logic over here. Okay guys, so that is the thing you have to take care. So this is all about the syntax part. Now let's write the over here exception handling part. Okay, so what I will do, I will simply copy paste the code over here, or let me write over here. So this is how you need to write it. Okay, so what exactly you need to do over here, exception keyword, when keyword, then keyword. Okay, and over here you need to write your own logic. Okay, and over here you need to mention the exception name. Okay, and over here I have mentioned that no data found, because I am feeling that okay this query can give no data found error also, or maybe this query can give the too many also. So that is the reason I have written only 2 over here. You can write multiple error over here. Okay, so over here I just wanted to print the one statement on the console. So that is the reason over here I have mentioned only one statement. Maybe you wanted to write multiple lines or hundreds of code over here, then you can mention it over here. You can insert, you can update, whatever the things you wanted to do over here, you can write it as per the normal PLSQL programming. Okay guys, so this is the thing you have to take care. Okay, so let me compile. I hope you have understood. This is this exception handling part. Okay, and one more thing I have just forget it. Okay, so other part. So other is nothing but it is kind of else. Okay, if no error or no condition satisfied, then over here it will get definitely satisfied. In case whenever any error came, then only then it will get executed, otherwise it won't be get executed. Okay, so this is the thing I need to explain. So let me compile over here. So as you can see on the this screen, this processor got successfully compiled. Okay, so what exactly this processor is doing, so you can see where it is taking one input and it is querying into the employee table. Okay, so let me pass first some valid employee ID. Okay, valid employee ID. So how we can call it? We can call it like this. Okay, because this is my processor name. Over here it is taking one input, so we need to pass over here one input. So let me print over here. Okay, I haven't done the set server output on, so that is the reason it is not printing. So let me do the over here first set server output on. Okay, so now it will be get executed. Okay, so what is the problem? I need to do over here also. No, sorry. Yes, nothing will come. Okay, because over here let me write over here some printf statement so that we will understand we are in the program. Okay, so let me write over here program. Okay, so let me compile once again. Now let me call this program. Okay, and how we can call it? So we can call it like this, and right now I'm passing valid input ID over here. Okay, so you can see over here it printed the we are in the program, so which is nothing but your this line. Now you can notice over here, one thing. Okay, let me take it up. Let me take it up. Over here no statement has been printed or no statement get executed, means over here there is no error came over here, so that is the reason none of the condition is getting satisfied and none of the statement got printed over here. Okay, so what exactly it indicates that okay, this query got executed successfully. Now let me pass some weird employee ID 12345. Okay, so 12345 is not present over here in the employee ID. So over here what is the possibility in this query? So this query will not get any record. So which kind of exception will occur? No data found exception will occur over here. Okay, so over here this this condition should get satisfied. So let me execute over here. Okay, so let me pass this statement and let me process. So you can see over here this is our as usual printf statement. Now you can see over here no such a record. So you can see over here this condition got satisfied and this printf statement got executed. Okay, so this is how you need to do the error handling, or I can say that exception handling. Okay, now let me pass over here. Maybe let's say for example I wanted to remove this. Maybe I will remove this one. Okay, and over here now you need to tell me which exception will come in the my program, and you need to pause this video and just tell me in the comment box which exception will occur over here if I will write this program. Okay, so over here which exception will occur? So over here it will give me the too many rows, because over here it will retrieve the too many rows and it will try to insert into a single variable, so that is not valid, so it will give the error. So what exactly happen over here, this condition will get satisfied and this record will be get printed. Okay, so let me show you over here. So let me there is no sense of this one, okay, because I'm not using over here whatever the input I am passing over here, so I'm not using over here. So whatever I have I will pass, that does not matter. Okay, so let me clear on. Okay, so you can see over here too many rows error came. Okay, so this is all about the exception. Okay guys, so I hope you have understood what exactly and how exactly you need to do the exception handling. Okay, now one more thing I just wanted to tell you guys that let's say for example I have written some query like this. Okay, so maybe let's say for example I have written over here department. Okay, for department I have written over here. So for department also I need to do the handling, correct? So if I wanted to do handling for the department, then what I need to do, I need to put over here begin and over here and I need to close into the some block. Okay, and for this also what I need to do, I need to do over here begin and over here you need to write the end. Okay, you need to write over here and then for that this begin and end. Okay, so in this you need to write it. Okay, so over here, so whatever the exception or whatever the error occurred in this begin and end section, that will be cached by over here. Okay, over here this statement, and whatever the exception handles over here, exceptions occur over here, that will be handled by over here. And let's say for example I wanted to write overall in the whole program, then what I need to do, I need to write it over here. So this exception will be valid for this selected statement. This exception handling will be valid for this one, and this exception handling will be responsible for overall in whole program. Whenever or wherever the exception will occur, then this exception will be executed. Okay, so in short what I can say, that if you wanted to write the multiple exception statement or in the multiple place, if you wanted to handle the exceptions, then you have to write into the begin and end section. Okay, so that is the thing you need to understand. So in our case also I need to write in the multiple place, then I have to include in the multiple begin and end section. Okay, so this is all about, I just wanted to tell you guys. So I hope you have understood now. Okay, now moving on to the next topic, which is nothing but your user defined exception. So how you can do the user defined exception? So for that we need to see the first syntax, correct? So let's see the syntax. So guys, as you can see on your screen, this is the syntax of the user defined exceptions. Okay, so in that, what all the things I need to do, I need to create the exception, and then after that I need to raise the exception, and then I need to handle that exception. All the three things we need to do it. Okay, so that is nothing but your user defined exception, and that is only we need to do over here in the syntax also. So you can see over here, this is PLSQL block, and in the PLSQL blocks what I need to do, I need to first create the exception. So this is how you can declare or create the exception. So what exactly you need to do, you need to mention the exception name and then exception keyword. Okay, so this is how you can create the exception. Now next thing what I need to do, I need to raise the exception, correct? So this is how I can raise an exception name. So this condition can be anything, in any situation as per your requirement you can mention it. Okay, so I have written simply one if condition. So just you need to understand this is how you can raise the exception. So you need to write the exception keyword and then exception name. Okay, and handling part also already we know. So exception and then when statements we need to write it. Okay, so this is how you can do the user defined exception, or I can say that this is the syntax of the user defined exception. Okay, now let's see the practical example of the same. So for that I have already written the one program. So as you can see on your screen, I have written same PLSQL program. Okay, and in that I have done the exception handling. So you can see over here, this is how I have created the exception. Okay, and the exception name I have written like this, exception invalid ID, something like that I have done. So whenever my employee ID less than 0, then I just wanted to raise. So that is the one of the my condition I wanted to raise this exception. So it depends upon your program to program in which condition you wanted to raise. So that differs to program to program. So in my situation I wanted to raise this thing in case of the if employee ID is less than 0, or maybe I wanted to I can write it over here, one more if condition I can write it over here, and I can write like this, end of if. Okay, and I can write it like this, raise whenever my employee ID is greater than maybe let's say for example like this. In this case also I can raise it. So this is all depends upon the how you wanted to raise this exception, whatever the exception you have defined. Okay, so this is how you can raise the exception. Okay, and as I told you that whenever I wanted to handle, or whenever I wanted to write the multiple exception handling, then I need to write into the begin and end section. So this is what I have done over here. So begin and end, and this exception handling will be taken care will be applicable for this query. Okay, so whatever the error will come in this query, then that will be handled by over here. Okay, and this exception handling is for overall program. So in my program, overall program, whatever the exception exception will arise, then this exception handling will be applicable. Okay, so this is all about the user defined exception. So over here we have seen this is how you can create the exception, this is how you can raise the exception, and this is how you can handle the exception. Okay, and you can see over here this is the exception name I have mentioned over here. These are the system defined, so I have used as it is. Over here I use my own exception, so you can see over here. So this is same as the system defined exception handling is the same as the system defined and the user defined. Okay, so this is how you can handle it. So whenever I will pass the less than 0 employee ID, then this exception should come and this statement should be get executed. Okay, so this is all about the user defined exception. Let me compile. Now this is, you can see over here, this got compiled. Okay, now what I will do, I will simply give some valid input to my program. Okay, so this is same procedure name. Let me, okay, so what I will do, I will simply copy this one. Okay, this is same as the previous one. Okay, so over here you can see no error occurred and no statement came from any of the exception. You can see over nothing came over here. Okay, nothing came from over here. Now let me execute this condition. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to pass some negative number. Okay, so if I will pass, then what will happen? Pause the video and tell me in the comment box either this exception, this exception will come, and if this will come, then which statement will be get printed, or this exception will be get applicable. okay, and which printf statement will be get executed, that you need to tell me in the comment box. Okay, pause the video. So let me run over here. So you can see over here id must be greater than 0, so that came from the here, and this exception got raised. Okay, and this raised from where? Here. So what exactly happened over here? So employee id came over here, it checks that okay, it is less than 0. Okay, then this exception got raised, and this came directly over here. Over here it came, and this exception, or I can say that this condition got true and this exception came, and same has got printed in our console. So this is all about the user defined exceptions. Okay guys, so I hope you have understood what exactly the exception, why exactly we required the exception, and what are the types of exception, and how you can create your own exception, and you can handle it and you can raise it. So that's all for the day, and now it's your turn. And if you like this video, then please hit the like button, and if you want to get the regular notification on my YouTube channel, then please subscribe this channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon button. Thank you so much for watching for the video. Bye bye, take care.